What if the ancient tomb you're desperate to unlock holds not just pharaonic gold, but the key to a modern murder that mirrors your own buried grief? And the only way to decipher the truth is to stop reading history as spectacle and start hearing it as testimony. In Hieroglyphs and Homicide, Tracy Higley delivers a 1920s Egypt mystery romance that transforms the Golden Age archaeology trope into a profound exploration of colonial gaze and female expertise, proving that in landscapes saturated with Western appropriation, true discovery requires honoring the culture you study rather than consuming it. This isn't merely another exotic whodunit with pith helmets and forbidden tombs. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every translated glyph feels like both clue and confession. Consent to investigate is negotiated through cultural humility rather than imperial entitlement, and love means choosing partnership over possession when everything demands extraction. From the first sand-swept narration, listeners are immersed in a world where antiquity is alive and intimacy is the only reliable translation. Perfect for fans of historically grounded romantic suspense and stories where female intellect triumphs over institutional dismissal, this audiobook serves up atmospheric wonder, relentless authenticity, and protagonists whose journey from academic rivals to sovereign partners resonates with anyone who's ever been told their knowledge doesn't belong in the room. When linguist Ilara Vance arrives at the Luxor excavation site to assist her late mentor's successor, she expects professional marginalization, not to discover his death was no accident, and the hieroglyphs he died decoding contain warnings about the very British officer now overseeing the dig. But as Ilara navigates political intrigue and fractured trust, she realizes this mystery isn't about treasure, it's about restitution. Higley masterfully avoids reducing Ilara to plucky heroine or Egypt to mystical backdrop. Instead, she crafts a narrative where scholarship becomes ethical practice, where consent is renegotiated through collaboration with local experts rather than assumed authority, and where liberation requires amplifying voices erased by colonial archives. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Ilara's disciplined focus softening into fierce advocacy, while secondary voices shift subtly between performative allyship and hidden agenda, making every translation session feel like both detective work and dialogue. You don't just hear the mystery unfold, you feel the seismic shift of minds learning that some truths can only be spoken when you stop claiming ownership of the past. What elevates Hieroglyphs and Homicide beyond typical historical mysteries is its nuanced portrayal of archaeology as restorative justice rather than heroic conquest. Ilara isn't merely solving a crime, she's confronting how her own training taught her to treat Egyptian peonage as data rather than living legacy, challenging the notion that objectivity requires cultural detachment. Her relationship with Captain Kaelin Thorne evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during midnight translations that bypass performance, establishing protocols that honor both evidence integrity and community sanctity, and defending each other's right to doubt against institutions that mistake compliance for competence. Supporting characters add vital texture: Egyptian scholars whose expertise encodes ancestral memory, diplomats whose charm conceals exploitation, even the Valley of the Kings itself, rendered as living archive whose stones absorb millennia of unspoken resilience. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In disciplines built on erasure, attention is insurgency, and presence is the only true artifact. Even the mystery mechanics serve thematic depth, with linguistic puzzles mirroring emotional integration, and tomb architecture becoming metaphor for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into historical intimacy. The narrator embodies Ilara and Kaelin with remarkable distinction. Ilara's voice carries crisp intelligence laced with dawning reverence, while Kaelin's low timbre trembles with suppressed respect beneath military cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during scholarly debate. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming inversion. Distant desert winds marking temporal rhythm, rain against mud brick walls during vulnerable confessions, the hushed scratch of reed pens sinking with breath during moments of revelation, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of excavation, deliberate during reflection and consultation, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through modern landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and connection feels lifeline. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where healing isn't about uncovering secrets, but about restoring dignity to the silenced. Ultimately, Hieroglyphs and Homicide redefines historical mystery romance by centering female epistemology with decolonial frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for fair play clues and satisfying reveals, while delivering substantive commentary on cultural appropriation, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of trusting marginalized truths when systems demand spectacle. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether scholarship can coexist with respect, or if true strength requires embracing what others dismiss, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply listening to what the stones have always been saying. Press play, brush away the dust, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by empire, hearts still find ways to translate truth. Your next favorite historical mystery isn't waiting in gilded artifacts. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor the living past.